Alright everyone, grab your seats and settle down. If you do a brilliant experiment but don't write it down properly, it's like it never happened. Today we are going to learn how to translate a cool moment in the lab into a professional science report. Scientists use a very specific universally understood structure called the IMRAD format. Does anyone know what that stands for? Dr. West, a scientist, conducted an experiment to measure animal intelligence. The animal whose intelligence he measured was Emily, a chimpanzee. Imagine you are Dr. West. Write a report of the experiment using the information given below. Experiment started around 9 am. Emily was put in a cage. She was hungry, not having had any breakfast. Emily was given two hollow tubes, one tube longer and wider than the other. A banana was placed some distance from the cage. Emily tried both tubes, failed to reach the banana, examined both tubes, fitted them together long enough to reach the banana. Emily pulled the banana towards the cage with her long stick, grabbed banana, gobbled it up. Time 10:40 am. Now pause the video and write a report of the experiment using the information given. Is it the best you could have written? Did you try it? Now let's see how it could have been written. First I'll read the report and then I'll teach you how to write the report. The title of the report is Spontaneous Tool Modification and Special Problem Solving in Chimpanzees, Pantoglotides, by Dr. West, lead scientist, date of report, June 12, 2026. Abstract. This laboratory report documents a behavioral trial evaluating spontaneous tool construction capabilities in a single captive chimpanzee. The subject, Emily, was placed in a fasted state within a testing enclosure and presented with an out-of-reach food reward, a banana. Two structurally asymmetrical, individually non-functional hollow tubes were provided as potential tools. Initial baseline attempts to reach the food reward using individual tubes failed. Following a period of physical examination of the objects, the subject spontaneously joined the narrower tube into the wider tube to construct a unified tool of sufficient length. Using the modified apparatus, the subject successfully retrieved and consumed the food reward. These findings suggest that higher order tool fabrication can occur spontaneously in primates to overcome physical barriers without prior instructional training. Introduction. The ability to utilize objects from the environment to achieve a goal is a recognized benchmark of advanced cognitive function. While simple tool use is widely documented among wild and captive primate populations, the spontaneous modification and combination of separate elements into a single functional tool represents a significantly higher tier of cognitive processing. This experiment investigates the spatial reasoning and mechanical insight of chimpanzees when confronted with a physical barrier. The specific objective was to determine whether a chimpanzee could independently evaluate the properties of two non-functional structural components and combine them to solve a novel retrieval problem. Methods. Subject. The subject of the trial was Emily, an adult female chimpanzee, pantoglotides, housed in a controlled observation facility. Try to notice the difference between the report and the essay. Pre-trial conditions. To establish a high level of food motivation, the subject was kept in a fasted state, having been withheld her standard morning breakfast allocation. Apparatus setup. The trial took place within a standard steel-barred observation cage. A single banana was positioned externally on the laboratory floor. The target was placed at a fixed distance that completely exceeded the maximum anatomical reach of the subject's limbs. Tools provided. Two cylindrical hollow tubes were introduced into the cage. The tubes were manufactured with asymmetrical physical dimensions. One tube was distinctly longer and wider in diameter, while the secondary tube was narrower, engineered specifically to allow for interlocking insertion. Temporal tracking. The experiment officially commenced at 9 am. Behavioral tracking and chronological sequencing were recorded continuously. Results. Phase 1. Direct and single tool reaching. Upon immediate detection of the food stimulus at 9 am, the subject attempted direct anatomical retrieval, which failed. The subject then deployed the individual hollow tubes through the bars of the enclosure. Emily attempted retrieval with both tubes separately. However, neither independent object possessed the structural length required to bridge the gap to the banana. Phase 2. Object evaluation. Following the failure of the single tool attempts, direct reaching behavior ceased. The subject retreated from the perimeter bars, placed both tubes on the enclosure floor, and began a close manual examination, manipulating and aligning the components. Phase 3: Fabrication and Retrieval. The subject coaxially aligned the components and manually fitted the narrower tube into the opening of the longer, wider tube. This physical modification successfully created a single stable extended stick. Phase 4: Execution and Conclusion. The subject maneuvered the combined tool through the cage bars, successfully hooked the banana, and pulled it across the laboratory floor until it was within reach. Emily grabbed the banana and immediately consumed it. The trial successfully concluded at 10:40 am. Discussion. The results of this behavioral trial indicate that chimpanzee pan-troglodytes is capable of spontaneous tool construction to solve immediate spatial problems. The behavioral transition from repetitive, unsuccessful reaching to manual object evaluation strongly implies that the final solution was the result of cognitive insight rather than random trial and error. By inserting the narrow tube into the wider one, the subject demonstrated an operational understanding of structural nesting and cumulative length. This supports historical primates studies showing that great apes can mentally simulate mechanical solutions before execution. The fast execution time, 1 hour and 40 minutes from baseline setup to consumption, highlights significant cognitive flexibility. Future studies should explore whether varying the weights, colors, or material flexibility of the tubes impacts the rate of successful tool engineering. Alright everyone, grab your seats and settle down. If you do a brilliant experiment but don't write it down properly, it's like it never happened. Today we are going to learn how to translate a cool moment in the lab into a professional science report. Scientists use a very specific, universally understood structure called the IMRAD format. Does anyone know what that stands for? It stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. Let's break down how you are going to use this format for a report on Emily piece by piece. Before we even get to the I in IMRAD, we need a title and an abstract. The title: Be specific, do not name it the monkey and the banana. Name it exactly what you are testing. Spontaneous tool modification and problem solving in chimpanzees. This is your spoiler alert. It's a 150-word paragraph right at the beginning that summarizes the whole thing. You state what you did, how you did it, and what you found. Why? Because other scientists are busy. They read the abstract to decide if your whole paper is worth their time. Now we start the actual paper. The introduction is where you set the stage. Don't just start talking about bananas right away. Start broad. Talk about animal intelligence and tool use. Narrow it down. Mention that wild primates use basic tools, but we want to know if they can engineer tools without being trained. State your objective. This experiment was designed to test if a chimpanzee can combine two asymmetrical tubes to reach a full reward. You are telling the reader exactly what the problem is and why it matters. Next up is the methods section. Think of this as a baking recipe. If someone in a lab in Tokyo reads your paper, they should be able to recreate your exact setup. Who was involved? Emily, an adult chimpanzee, tested in a fasted state. She had no breakfast. What was the apparatus? 1 banana, a cage, and 2 hollow tubes of different widths. What was the procedure? Keep it chronological and use the past tense. The banana was placed outside the enclosure. The subject was given 2 tubes. Do not include results here. Just tell me how you set the stage. The results. Here is where a lot of students mess up. In the results section, I just want the cold hard facts. What actually happened? Did Emily try to use the single tubes first? Yes. Did it work? No. Did she connect them? Yes. Did she get the banana? Yes. At 10:40 am. Notice what I didn't say? I didn't say Emily was so incredibly smart to figure this out. Keep your opinions out of the results section. You are just a human camera reporting the sequence of events. Finally, we reach the discussion. You've given the facts, now you get to interpret them. What do Emily's actions actually mean for science? This is where you get to say that Emily didn't just use trial and error. She evaluated the objects and understood their physical properties. You tie it back to your introduction. We set out to see if primates can spontaneously build tools, and Emily proved they can. We can also talk about the bigger picture. What does this say about the evolution of intelligence? What kind of experiments should we try next? And that's it. Title, abstract, introduction, methods, results, discussion. Be clear, use the past tense, and keep your opinions in the discussion section where they belong. Now open up your laptops and let's start drafting your introductions.